When we were young, we were always taught not to talk to strangers to ensure safety. Now, as teenagers or adults, do we still keep that in mind, or have we become too comfortable in the company of strangers, forgetting the lessons we learned as kids? This might be the case for cross-dresser Hitoshi Ura, who lost his life in the most unimaginably gruesome way.
Suspects in Sapporo have bond linkage to undergo.
Hitoshi Ura, a 62-year-old individual, is presumed to have his family home in the vicinity of Ibetsu City, situated in southern Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan. Following his graduation from an industrial high school in Tomakomai, Hitoshi Ura pursued a career with an American agricultural machinery manufacturer, holding positions in Tokyo and Asahikawa City. Hitoshi Ura has a wife with whom he has been together for about 30 years. Married with 2 children, he faced challenges due to family illnesses. Both of his children experienced frequent hospitalizations due to illness. Taking care of the ailing children led to his wife falling ill, prompting him to resign from his job. He returned to his hometown in Ibetsu City, transitioning to a local company. Initially residing with his parents, Hitoshi later built a house in Ibetsu City, where he settled with his family. Testimonies from nearby residents suggest a positive marital relationship. Actively involved in the neighborhood association, Hitoshi even served as its head approximately 5 years ago, earning a favorable reputation with no negative rumors. According to a Shushai report, Hitoshi is currently employed at Hokkaido Yoshino Gypsum Company Limited, a local company specializing in interior construction materials. Notably, Hitoshi's father had worked at the same company, sharing a commendable work ethic and commitment to the job. Quiet yet earnest, gentle, and a longtime employee of a local company, this was the public face of Hitoshi Ura. Beyond his professional life, Hitoshi Ura pursued an unconventional hobby of cross-dressing, inspired by anime characters. He enjoyed crafting figures of beautiful anime girls, and while doing so, he developed a desire to try dressing up beautifully himself. This interest led him to explore cross-dressing himself. While his wife accepted this hobby, his secretive weekend outings, leaving on Saturday nights and returning on Sunday nights without informing his family, added a layer of complexity. When Hitoshi Ura's wife was asked about her thoughts on his cross-dressing hobby, she reportedly responded, "As long as it's within the allowance, it's fine." Having a husband who indulges in cross-dressing, and spends weekends without disclosing his whereabouts, might raise questions about understanding and financial aspects, considering the expenses involved in socializing and purchasing makeup and clothing for cross-dressing, which might not necessarily fit within the allowance. Hitoshi Ura was a popular figure at the Minshuku cross-dressing party. Known by aliases Tomochan or Tomo-chan, rumors circulated about his pursuit of casual relationships, approaching women in nightclubs to inquire about their contact information, and venturing into love hotels. While engaging in cross-dressing, Hitoshi Ura's romantic and sexual interests were directed towards women. This could explain his marriage and having children. However, it appears he wasn't necessarily devoted to his wife, as even in his 60s, he sought casual relationships with both men and women. In that place, although there were no sexual acts, there were instances where genitalia were touched or made to touch, and individuals were asked to undress partially or completely. Tomo-chan was also seen with disheveled appearances, sometimes with a wig askew, and at times, clothes partially undone. A source website report revealed Hitoshi's initial involvement in peeping at mixed-gender hot springs, but his desires escalated beyond voyeurism. He couldn't resist, leading him to ask an acquaintance to introduce him to a members-only bar, known for explicit preferences, where he became known as Tomo-chan, or Tomochan, engaging in various explicit unconventional activities. Hitoshi Ura, adopting the alias Tomo-chan, actively participated in diverse activities within this unconventional establishment. Shukan Bushan Online provided information about Hitoshi having a girlfriend, despite his penchant for casual physical relationships. In the spring of 2023, an extramarital affair with a girlfriend surfaced, as confirmed by Tomo-chan to his acquaintance, who shared a photo on his smartphone, mentioning that they met at a club. The person in the picture looked like a beautiful woman in her 20s or 30s with distinct facial features, somewhat resembling a half-Japanese. Tomo-chan once said, "Though I dress as a woman, my preference is for girls." In an emotional expression, Hitoshi stated, "Even dressed like this, I'm just a regular guy." His weekend activities include enjoying nightlife at Susukino, frequenting discos, clubs, and bars. Hitoshi Ura frequented happening bars, but faced bans from multiple establishments due to repeatedly violating established rules or engaging in prohibited activities. The reason for Hitoshi Ura's ban was his inappropriate behavior at a bar, where he engaged in activities such as touching genitals and exposing himself, creating a disorderly situation, persistently asking for the phone numbers of female customers, and inappropriately touching the breasts of young women. Chasing a woman who sought refuge in the restroom after being approached in a club. Hitoshi Ura even entered the restroom. Doing such actions in a cross-dressed manner, Hitoshi can be considered a problematic type. Moreover, being banned from multiple establishments indicates he was truly troublesome and disruptive. A woman, who had relations with the victim, stated in an interview, engaging in such dangerous nightlife could provoke resentment. While it's known that Hitoshi Ura enjoyed cross-dressing as a hobby, it's possible that his choice of female attire served a dual purpose. Beyond personal enjoyment, dressing as a woman might have been a tactic to lower the guard of women he encountered, easing their wariness and making it easier for him to lead them to hotels. People in the community were aware that Tomo-chan cross-dressed as a means to meet women for intimate encounters. Someone from the community said, "I, too, received warnings from regulars, advising me to be cautious around him." It seems that Hitoshi Ura's modus operandi involved cross-dressing, using feminine language, and gaining trust to the point of physical contact, eventually leading to inviting women to hotels with the excuse of missing the last train. Using a feminine tone might have made victims lower their guard, thinking they were not viewed as romantic or sexual interests, especially considering recent trends, where women might stay at love hotels as part of a girls' night out scenario, when public transportation is unavailable. It's possible that Hitoshi Ura employed cross-dressing to exploit such aspects of female psychology. A few days before the incident in late June, Hitoshi Ura left home without informing his family and drove away in his car. On July 1st, a few hours before the incident, until just before entering the hotel, Mr. Hitoshi Ura had been participating in a disco event held nearby. At the event venue, he was observed dressed in women's cosplay, enjoying the occasion in a friendly manner with regular attendees. Mr. Hitoshi Ura was reportedly cross-dressing in a Lady Gaga costume at the event. Around 10:15 p.m. on July 1st, he meets with a woman on the streets of Susukino. Approximately 10:30 p.m., both enter the Let's Susukino Hotel. After 2 a.m. on July 2nd, the woman leaves the room first. After a 3.5-hour stay, the front desk receives a message from a woman's voice, stating she would leave alone. The perpetrator, now wearing different clothes and carrying a backpack not present during entry, leaves alone. The person who entered the Love Hotel with the victim was a woman in her 20s to 30s, pushing a suitcase, wearing light-colored clothing, both top and bottom, with a black hat upon entering, wearing black clothing upon leaving, approximately 160 centimeters tall. Upon leaving, she makes a phone call to the front desk, saying, "I'll be leaving alone first. The key isn't working, so please open it." After that, she exits. It is believed that this person, suspected to be the perpetrator, took the victim's head, clothing, and belongings with her. In the report made by TV Asahi, on July 2, 2023, around 3:15 p.m., a staff member at Hotel Let Susukino, alerted emergency services after discovering a man collapsed inside the bath of a second-floor guest room. The checkout time for the room was scheduled for 11 a.m. on July 2. However, as the occupant did not emerge from the room after the checkout time, hotel staff entered and found the victim dead in the bathroom. Upon opening the bathroom door, the first thing that caught the eyes of the staff was the back of the victim, completely naked, facing the bathtub in a kneeling position, with hands on the shower floor. At that time, the staff didn't immediately notice the absence of the victim's head and promptly dialed 119 to report the incident. Emergency personnel confirmed the man, believed to be an adult, dead at the scene. The body appeared to have been severed from the torso with a knife-like object, and the location of the head was unknown. Hitoshi Ura's body showed no defensive wounds, and there were no signs of struggle in the room. The bed displayed no traces of use and appeared neatly arranged. From these observations, it is presumed that Ura entered the room, took a bath immediately, and was killed during that vulnerable moment. As the body lacked a head, and there were no belongings or clothes of the victim at the scene, the identity was initially unknown. Based on the circumstances, the police treated the case as murder. According to police report, security camera footage revealed 2 women entering the hotel room, but only one was later seen passing the front desk alone. Around 10 p.m. on July 3, the victim's family filed a missing person report to the Chito's police station. On July 5, the victim's identity was determined to be Hitoshi Ura, a 62-year-old company employee residing in Eniwa City. Runa Tamura, aged 29, resides with her parents in Atsubetsu Ward, Sapporo City, Hokkaido, Japan, and is the sole child of Osamu and Hiroko Tamura. Reports indicate she grapples with a form of mental illness, and she faced academic challenges since elementary school. In Weekly Bunshun, they reported on incident from Runa's elementary school days, where she caused trouble with a classmate. When we were in the same 5th grade class, I teased Runa about her outfit. Suddenly, she pulled out a box cutter from her pencil case, chased after me, and held the cutter to my neck while straddling me. Some friends intervened, but Runa warned, "If you say anything again, I'll stab you." I genuinely thought I would be stabbed. I still remember it vividly. In a handwritten elementary graduation yearbook message, there's also a sentence that reads, "The school trip was fun. I was the only girl who bought a wooden sword." As per an interview with her grandfather, Runa attended high school briefly, but eventually ceased attendance, failing to graduate and spending the majority of her time at home. Despite this, her father, Osamu Tamura, who had a policy of not getting angry with his children, continued to watch over her without expressing anger. According to Runa's grandfather, she harbors a dislike for men and lacks romantic interest in them. In a police investigation, Runa disclosed having dissociative identity disorder, with one of her personalities allegedly responsible for killing Hitoshi Ura. Osamu Tamura, aged 59, serves as Runa's father, and is a locally renowned psychiatrist. He held the position of head of the psychiatric department at a general hospital in Hokkaido from 2008. While engaged in collaborative medical care, he showed interest in workplace mental health, issues related to the local homeless population, and social challenges such as health problems of overseas deployed self-defense force members and their families. He was an enthusiastic physician who also conducted several lecture sessions. In October 2019, Dr. Tamura was invited as a lecturer for a learning session, organized by the Hokkaido Medical Association, focusing on the theme, psychiatry and human rights. Addressing historical persecutions of individuals with mental disorders or minorities, including the Holocaust in Nazi Germany and forced sterilization in Japan. He raised questions about current human rights issues in a flyer that announced the mentioned learning session, urging individuals to confront challenges with the right awareness instead of relying solely on psychiatry. He stated, "Every time something happens, various comments from psychiatrists are featured on TV, but why does society not seem to be improving at all? Instead of relying solely on psychiatry, it is important for each individual to confront issues with the right awareness. Let's stop having the illusion that everything can be solved by medicine. Their residence, conspicuously noticeable to passers-by, was the backdrop for an incident where Osamu drove Runa to a hotel where the crime occurred, and they had purchased tools believed to have been used in the crime, such as a saw, knives, and a suitcase, together beforehand. Articles report that Runa and Osamu, seemingly living together, were arrested, potentially attempting to escape, and apprehended in a different location at Oyachi Higashi, Atsubetsu Ward, Sapporo City. Hiroko Tamura, aged 60, a part-time worker, faces arrest on suspicion of conspiring with her family in transporting and keeping the head at home. In late May 2023, Hitoshi Ura and Tamura Runa became acquainted, meeting initially at a dance club and subsequently at various locations, including restaurants. However, trouble emerged between them within about a month, leading to the unfolding of the tragic incident. In a report on Yukin Fuzan's official website, Runa's mother, Hiroko, claims her daughter experienced assault from the male victim. Tamura Runa told her parents about being tricked and assaulted by Hitoshi Ura at a restaurant in Sapporo's Susukino entertainment district. Osamu, Runa's father, instructed Hitoshi Ura to cease contact with Runa. The man agreed to this, and, as a result, Osamu did not contact the police. But the man, Hitoshi Ura, contacted her again after the warning. Runa disclosed this to her parents after the alleged murder. Runa's mother stated if they had known, the incident might not have occurred. Runa was being attacked. The other person was dressed as a woman, so Runa thought they were a woman. They suggested going somewhere private, saying there was a nice place, and once they entered the Love Hotel, the other person revealed they were a man. The primary motive arose after Hitoshi Ura violated Tamura Runa. Runa hates men, the other person was cross-dressing, so she let her guard down and went to the hotel. The grandfather revealed these details on the day of the arrest, alongside with a phone call with the one of the suspect, stating, "I told them never to show up again, but they did," indicating prior warnings given to the individuals involved. Before the incident, Osamu, Runa's father, was reportedly seen eating on the doorstep, which was allegedly a way to keep an eye on Hitoshi Ura to prevent him from approaching. There are information that implies a possible relationship between the suspect, Runa, and the male victim, involving humiliating videos. Reportedly, they met several times in connection to this situation. The possibility of Hitoshi Ura using a video of the alleged violation he did to Runa as leverage to threaten Tamura Runa cannot be ruled out. It could be speculated that her parents were aware of this, leading to the committed crime. If indeed there was a video, it could provide an explanation for the act of decapitation. It is plausible that Hitoshi Ura had the video saved on his smartphone. Given the modern face recognition technology on smartphones, decapitating the victim, taking the smartphone along, and possibly attempting to delete the video stored inside, might have been the motivation. In the Sapporo Susukino beheading case, the most puzzling aspect is, why did Runa's father, assisted in transportation in the purchase of the weapon for the crime, but did not actively participate? It might be interpreted as an effort to protect his daughter. The daughter, Runa Tamura, has a chronic mental illness, potentially dissociative identity disorder. Individuals with mental illnesses may be deemed not criminally responsible, leading to acquittal or reduced sentences. The father's involvement might be a strategy to spare his daughter from a potential life sentence and ensure her mental health support. Concerns arise that the father, fearing the difficulty of supporting his daughter's life if he becomes the perpetrator, deliberately planned to make his daughter the offender. There's suspicion that Tamura Osamu devised the crime plan, having his daughter execute it to potentially secure probation or a shorter imprisonment term. The autopsy revealed that Hitoshi Ura's cause of death was hemorrhagic shock due to blood loss. The investigation led authorities to suspect that Runa Tamura inflicted multiple knife wounds near the victim's neck, including a deep laceration nearly reaching the lung. On July 4, 2023, Hitoshi Ura's car, believed to have been driven from his home, was discovered in a toll parking lot in Sapporo. On July 9, 2023, with limited clues, Sapporo police appealed for public information regarding the murder of the 62-year-old Hokkaido man, found headless in a downtown Susukino hotel room, a week earlier. Police are hoping someone might remember seeing 62-year-old Hitoshi Ura entering the Love Hotel on July 1, with a companion dressed in women's clothing, or recall the latter leaving. A team of 20 police officers approached motorists and pedestrians in the early hours of July 9, asking them, "Did you pass by here last week?" Daiki Kanamori, who heads the 1st Detective Section at Sapporo Chuo Police Station, told reporters, "The investigation is progressing. We are trying to gather as much information as possible in the hope it will lead to the arrest of the perpetrator." Investigators said that Hitoshi Ura entered the hotel around 10:50 p.m. on July 1, accompanied by an individual lugging a large suitcase. Investigators said the bloodstains were concentrated in the bathroom, pointing to the possibility he was attacked while his guard was down. On July 24, 2023, Runa Tamura and her father, Osamu Tamura, were arrested. The next day, July 25, 2023, Runa's mother, Hiroko Tamura, was also arrested. The charges included corpse mutilation, unlawful possession of a corpse, and abandoning a corpse. Runa Tamura is considered the perpetrator, with her parents believed to have assisted in her actions. The decaying head of a male was found in the bathroom of the perpetrator's residence, along with several belongings of Hitoshi Ura. Later that day, on July 25, 2023, Runa's mother poured out her heart to a relative in a 30-minute phone call. "Neither Osamu, nor I, ever thought that Runa would kill someone," the relative quoted Hiroko. On August 18, 2023, police seized around 20 blades, including 4 saws, from the Tamura family home. Some of the confiscated blades were found in Runa's room. The home of the suspects, Runa Tamura and Osamu Tamura, is said to resemble a hoarder's house. People involved in the home search mentioned, "It looks more like a garbage cleanup than a house search." Runa Tamura and Osamu Tamura had minimal interaction with their neighbors. In an interview, a neighbor mentioned that Osamu Tamura seemed like a gentle person, but the comings and goings of their car were a bit unusual. "Recently, they weren't home even at night, so I thought maybe they changed their job to something like nighttime security," said by the interviewed neighbor. In an interview with HTB Hokkaido News, a neighbor living near Tamura residence stated, "I can't see inside their house, so I don't know for sure, but something seemed off. Even when her husband came home, she would immediately go out somewhere. She would return with the car but wouldn't go inside the house." Regarding Osamu, the neighbor stated, "He seemed serious, spoke gently, and had a doctor-like demeanor. I haven't seen their daughter in about 2 years." Neighbors found it unnatural that Osamu Tamura wasn't staying overnight at his own home. Some neighbors mentioned that his behavior seemed strange. When he returned home, he wouldn't go inside but spent time in the garage or inside the car, leaving the neighbors puzzled. Eventually, the inside of the house became obscured by white curtains, and more coolers appeared in front of the entrance. On August 18, 2023, the Sapporo District Public Prosecutor's Office filed a request with the Sapporo Summary Court for psychiatric tests, which the court granted. The tests aim to determine their state of mind at the time of the incident in July. The period of detention for the tests will be from August 28, 2023, to late February 2024. On August 25, 2023, defense lawyers for Osamu and Hiroko filed an appeal against the decision with the Sapporo District Court, but it was rejected. Remember, the power to create change lies within each of us.